So thank you very much for the participation and the entire organization. In this day, we have heard a lot about agentic AI, about Gen AI, about models. Now, in this session, we will focus on a slightly different domain that sides head-to-head with agentic AI, which is the agentic AI governance. All the market analyst studies and researches converge that agentic AI is the next big bet of generative AI. We are seeing a strong shift in the market from models back in 2023 now to agentic AI applications and to the use cases that can help Gen AI in its monetization. So in this journey of Gen AI, all the analysts agree that agentic AI is the next step. So based on some market researches, we can see that there is a very big market opportunity in the agentic AI landscape, and that in the next 3 years, almost 1 out of 3 applications will be reorganized in order to become agentic AI based. So agentic AI is the next step in the Gen AI journey and the revolution that came in our lives 2 years ago. IBM makes on a yearly basis a very big research among thousands of chief data officers in order to record their thoughts, their strategy, their concerns, as well as their expectations from the usage of AI. So in this year, we have seen and we have depicted a clear message that business leaders agree that agentic AI will benefit a lot their organization, and that the benefits are more than the induced risks that it creates. So there is a strong hope that agentic AI will transform the way the work is done in multiple business domains, in HR, in IT, in procurement, in sales, in customer service, in enterprise processes, etc. So all the C-level executives converge that agentic AI is an area where they should invest and that it will transform their business. The most interesting part is that from a recent study that the Organization of Economic Cooperation and Development conducted, the majority of enterprises that either use or they have not adopted yet Gen AI agree that the governance part and the ethical concerns are considered as the #1 challenge. We may see in this graph that the majority of enterprises that have adopted Gen AI and agentic AI in their application landscape consider that governance process is something that it may be, let's say, a break to the Gen AI adoption. We are hearing from a lot of organizations that we need first to adopt generative AI and agentic AI into our applications and processes, and then we will have to concern about the governance part. This is the one part of the coin. The other part of the coin is that we need to formulate a culture, we need to formulate guidelines, principles, processes in order to be compliant with the new regulations, in order to know how to use this new revolutionary technology. It's like a small child. We need to teach it how it should behave, the principles in its life in order to be evolved and to be a good citizen. So from one part of the coin, we are seeing some organizations saying that governance is something very complex for me. It's not a concern right now, but if we fail to structure governance processes from this point of time, when the generative AI will be accelerated in organizations, then it will be uncontrollable. So we need to be proactive in how we state the scene for this technology. Speaking about AI governance, we think that there are some myths that we should clarify. First of all, a lot are saying that governance is something that can be an obstacle to generative AI or agentic AI adoption and evolution. it's like a brake. But if we do not have brakes in our vehicles, then we will probably get killed. So we need to be very proactive. We need to have control processes, to have a culture in the organization of how we should govern the AI in all of its dimensions. The second myth about AI governance is that it's not scalable. But as we will see in the next slides, if we have the right processes, if we have the respective culture, and if we have technological solutions, and if we have technological solutions, then governance can be automated and can be an accelerator of value creation for an organization. And the third big myth about AI governance is that it's a defensive mechanism and does not contribute at all to value creation. But AI governance in our days protects the number one asset and competitive advantage that every organization has, its brand and its reputation. So it's a solution that can help us protect our brand, create a competitive advantage, attract new people in working in organization through the culture that we embrace, and last but not least, be compliant with all regulations that have emerged, like EU AI Act, in which all the organizations should be comply. And in addition to this, we believe that every organization needs to invest in its AI governance in order to have a successful business strategy. We are seeing the regulatory landscape to be evolved all the time, following the evolution of technology. So we have a lot of changing regulations and laws with which we should be compliant. Furthermore, AI governance is not a purely technical aspect. We have to create, let's say, a culture in which multiple roles and multiple stakeholders within an organization should be collaborated. People from the business, data scientists and AI engineers, compliance, legal, security, risk management, etc. So it's a complex process in which many different business units will have to collaborate. Some additional reasons that make AI governance a necessity for organization is that we need to have rules and we need to have methods in order to collect all the respective documentation. That it's a major problem in many organizations. And we need to have a consolidated place where we will have all the documentation, all the inventory of AI use cases, all the risks that are associated with this, all the control mechanisms, all the KPIs and the metrics in order to have a very efficient strategy. It's of high importance to mention that the adoption of Gen AI has also evolved the type of risks that we should take into account. So we are seeing an evolution, and now with Gen AI and the new terms like prompts, like assets, like models, like agents, we have new risks that we should be take care of and we should be concerned. We need to reassure that the models or the agents that we have in our organization do not drift. They are fair in their decisions. They do not promote hate, abuse, or profanity, or toxic language, or we need to have full transparency regarding their decisions and how they ended up to these decisions. Or we need to be reassured that there is no leakage of personal information or of sensitive information. So with all the Gen AI landscape, the elements of risks have also been evolved. And these risks affect in multiple ways an organization. They affect it, first of all, in its reputation, which is the number one asset and competitive advantage that it has. In addition to this, they may have, many organizations may have regulatory compliance issues if they fail to comply with the AI Act. And last but not least, there is the operational risk dimension, meaning we need to be 100% sure that we will not, our revenue and our profitability will not be affected by misleading decisions of AI systems or of agents. That's why IBM Research actually has created a risk atlas, meaning a framework of how we should clarify and how we should organize and structure all of our AI and Gen AI risks depending on their type or their severity. And this can be, let's say, like a roadmap to an organization in order to start this journey. And especially with Agentic AI, in which we will have autonomous systems that will be able to take decisions and that will be able to act autonomously based on the intent of the users, we have new and we have amplified the risks from this technology. For example, we must be reassured that there is no action that it should not be taken, but it was performed. We need to be reassured that we protect our customers from misleading actions that the agents are taking. Or we need to be in position in order to explain and to have full transparency, auditability, and traceability regarding the decisions that agents have taken. So, in Agentic AI, where we are seeing the evolution in the Gen AI, because the agents can now take actions and they can orchestrate multiple tools that they have, the need for governance is even more demanding. So in this concept, after we have seen why we need AI governance and how Gen AI and Agentic AI are changing the game in terms of risks that we should take care of, as IBM, we offer a solution, we offer a platform that we think that it can address these challenges. It's called WatsonX Governance. It has taken its name from the founder of IBM, Thomas Watson. And basically, with this platform, an organization can do it can address three main issues. First of all, this can be an inventory of all the AI use cases that we have in an organization. So we can map where we are using AI, which models we are exploiting, which are the business processes and the business units that are using these models, which are the associated risks and the mitigated controls that we take in order to address these risks, or how do we have a structured method and workflows in order to identify risks, in order to assign their severity, in order to mitigate them, etc. Or how we govern processes in order to reassure that the new use cases that we are developing are under the AI Act compliance. This is the first pillar. The second pillar that this platform can address is that it can accelerate the collection of AI documentation. So we can have a centralized inventory where we will have all the metadata and the technical documentation about the use cases and the models that we are using in production. And the third pillar that comes and it's integrated with the other two is regarding evaluation, monitoring, and quality assurance of models, of prompts, and of agents. So we have automated ways in order to monitor in real time the performance of agents and of LLM models in order to see, for example, their performance, their latency, if they propagate information that they should not do, if they are drifting from the normal operation, meaning that we have a problem, if their decisions are fair, in order to see if they are accurate in their predictions, etc. So we have a closed loop, let's say, where we can collect all the metadata regarding the use cases and the models, where we can govern the use cases and have workflows in order to collect the risks, in order to mitigate them with certain controls. And we have a dimension regarding quality assurance where we can in real time monitor models and see their performance and their accuracy. And the differentiator of this platform is that it can be like an umbrella and sit on top of whatever model an organization has. Either IBM developed models and platforms or non-IBM developed models and platforms. And in addition to this, we can also cover the traditional AI and machine learning part. So we have a unified platform where we can have AI lifecycle governance, we can achieve regulatory compliance with regulations and laws like EU AI Act, and we can also have a proper quality assurance mechanisms in order to monitor in real time the behavior of agents and of models. And speaking about agents, what our platform practically provides is that we can collect all the agentic AI systems and applications that we have in governed catalogs, meaning that we can easily spot where we are using AI agents, which team does it exploit these agentic AI systems, which are the tools or the models that they are using, etc. In addition to this, we can have evaluations, meaning that we can massively test the proper behavior of agents before they move into production and see if they behave based on the standards or based on the behavior that they should have. Moreover, we can also compare multiple agents. This is very important because we have seen as a trend that many organizations will develop plenty of AI agents up to replicating each job position with one agent. So in this situation, we need capabilities in order to test and in order to compare multiple agents and see their expected behavior and their performance before they move into production. And last but not least, as mentioned also earlier, we can also monitor in real time agentic AI systems and see their behavior, and even we can stop bad interactions in case they occur and in case that there is we violate, for example, regulations or internal policies of the organization. It's very also important to note that we can also structure the process and create some workflows mechanism in order to onboard new agents. So we can formulate which is the process and which are the responsible stakeholders or the steps that they should be followed in case that we want to onboard a new agent to our application landscape. So we can have real-time reactive mechanisms that are monitoring the agent behavior and they can stop bad interactions, but we can also have the regulatory part, and we can model which are the processes and which are the policies that we should be compliant before we deploy a new agent into our production systems. Last but not least, this platform, apart from the monitoring capabilities, apart from the risk management and mitigation functionalities that it provides, it can also help us in accelerating our compliance with regulations and with laws. So we are providing regulatory content and updates that the regulations have, regulations like EU AI Act, like ISO, like NIST, etc. So we provide real-time. So we provide updates of the regulations, obligations that organizations should meet, and we can also conduct assessments in order to see our compliance with these regulations. And last but not least, before I end up this presentation, AI governance is not something new for IBM. It sits on IBM research and on IBM technologies regarding risk, regarding compliance, regarding models monitoring that are in the market for from between 10 and 20 years. So it's a safe solution, and we need to accelerate the adoption of AI, but this should be done in a controlled, governed, and safe way. Thank you.